morning, I'm James Gruber. Welcome to the Morning Report for Tuesday, the 5th of May. Well, it seems the US-Iran ceasefire is a ceasefire in name only. Overnight, the fighting escalated once again as Iran hit a South Korean merchant ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Separately, it also struck an oil port in the United Arab Emirates with drones, and it claimed to have forced a US warship to turn back after it attempted to enter the strait. All of this seems to signal that Iran is tightening its grip over the Strait of Hormuz. We'll have to wait and see how the US responds to these latest attacks. Markets didn't wait long to react to those events though, as oil jumped and stocks and bonds dipped. As for the Aussie share market, the ASX is poised to open lower, with index futures down 0.8%. As for the ASX 200 yesterday, it closed 0.4% lower at 8,697. That was ahead of the RBA's interest rate decision today and NAB's first half earnings miss, which sent its shares down 1.2%. On the RBA, markets are expecting it to raise rates by 25 basis points to 4.35%. If right, it would be the third rate hike this year. The RBA decision will obviously have a big bearing on how the ASX performs today. And on that, Westpac has just come out with its first half results. Net profit increased 3%, though missed market estimates. Moving to commodity markets, on those oil prices, they rallied after the latest Iranian strikes. Brent crude futures settled 5.8% higher, above $114 a barrel. Base metal prices were lower as the Iranian strikes threatened higher inflation, impacting economic activity. Copper futures were down 2.3%, while aluminium futures were 0.2% lower. Gold futures, meanwhile, fell as Middle East risks pushed the US dollar higher and kept inflation fears in focus. The futures settled 2.4% lower at $4,533 an ounce. Meantime, iron ore futures nudged up 0.3% to $108.17 a tonne. Let's look at currencies now. The Aussie dollar was last trading down 0.4% to 71.64 US cents as investors sought safety in the US dollar given the heightened Middle East tensions. Let's go back a step to see how Wall Street and other world markets did. The Dow Jones Index finished down 1.1%. The S&P 500 was 0.4% lower, and the Nasdaq lost 0.2%. A closer look at the trading day there. US share markets dipped from record highs after the Iranian attacks. That dampened optimism after strong first quarter earnings reports. 10 of the 11 S&P 500 sector indexes declined, led lower by materials down 1.6%, followed by a 1.2% loss in industrials. Energy was the only sector that rose. Delivery firms FedEx and United Parcel Service fell about 10% each after Amazon said it was rolling out Amazon Supply Chain Services, opening up its logistics network for other businesses to use. Cruise operator Norwegian Cruise Line dropped about 9% after slashing its annual forecast due to higher fuel costs related to the Middle East conflict. Shares of GameStop tumbled 10% and eBay rose 5% after the video game retailer unveiled a proposal to buy the online marketplace for about $56 billion US in a cash and stock deal. GameStop's stock market value is just $11 billion. US government bond yields rose as investors weighed how long shipping through the Strait of Hormuz would be disrupted and the impact of higher energy prices on inflation and global monetary policy. The US 10-year Treasury yield was 6 points higher to 4.44%, while the US 2-year Treasury yield was up 7 points to 3.95%. Moving to the European markets now, the continent-wide FTSE Euro First 300 index ended down 1.1%. Europe dropped on the renewed Middle East hostilities. On the data front, German manufacturer sentiment turned negative in April for the first time since October 2024. And a separate reading showed investor morale in the Eurozone improved slightly in May. Eurozone banks were hit hard on Monday, declining 2.7%, to clock their biggest one-day fall in more than 6 weeks. Automakers shed 2.1% after US President Donald Trump said late on Friday he would raise tariffs on cars and trucks from the EU to 25% this week, up from the previously agreed 15%. Among other movers, ThyssenKrupp fell 1.8%. The German industrial giant paused talks to sell its steel unit to India's Jindal Steel. So let's take a look at what's on the watch list. In Australia, it's RBA Day, as the central bank delivers its decision on interest rates. In the US, there are earnings results from AMD, KKR, Pfizer, PayPal, Shopify, and Supermicro Computer. In economic data, there are job openings figures plus new home sales and the ISM's services PMI. And that's it for today. For further developments on the local trading session, please tune in to the CommSec Market Update podcast this afternoon and, of course, the Market Close video. We'll also have socials and videos throughout the day on the RBA's interest rate decision. Have a great day.